Is it possible to make a Gmail wallpaper that says $1 million and have that come into your life? In 2015, I was back home in South Africa, having spent a couple of years traveling, and I'd been meaning to watch this documentary called The Secret for a few years, and I took an afternoon off and decided to watch this documentary, and I was inspired by the initial understanding of this thing called law of attraction. In the documentary, one of the presenters and commentators of law of attraction and a practitioner called Jack Canfield spoke about this experiment that he had done with visualization, where he had randomly created an item that he put onto something that he called a vision board to bring $1 million into his life. And the story goes on to say that a few months later, his book deal came off and it suddenly came into his world. And while I was watching this documentary called The Secret, I was inspired by this concept of law of attraction, but didn't exactly know where to start with it. And there wasn't really clear objectives as to how to get involved and use law of attraction in your life to be able to bring into your world the things that you're trying to bring. So I made this random experiment. I created a Gmail wallpaper that said $1 million in my PayPal account by 2016. I made it my Gmail wallpaper and completely forgot about it. 2016 came and went. That remained my Gmail wallpaper, and nothing much seemed to happen, and I sort of forgot about it. And then suddenly in 2017, around December, almost a year after the date that I had hoped that this would work, an investment in some cryptocurrency that I had made almost 2 years earlier suddenly just went through the roof. And on the 23rd of December, right at the peak of the cryptocurrency boom, if you want to, my small investment became $1 million. And it suddenly got me thinking, like, did this come into my world because of the fact that I had just taken a punt on Bitcoin? Or was this anyway related to this weird $1 million Gmail wallpaper that I'd made almost 2 years previously? It got me thinking that it was way too much of a thing to not spend some time at least giving it a little bit more attention and understanding a little bit more about it. And my journey with understanding law of attraction really started because of this $1 million manifestation. So setting out to try and understand a little bit more about manifestation and law of attraction, I went and spent some time on YouTube reading some books, and I found myself getting lost down a rabbit hole of people explaining vibrational alignment and vortexes and all these weird analogies that seemed so spiritual and so fluffy that I couldn't quite get my head around it. But this weird $1 million investment story that I've just told you was too much for me to let go of. And as I spent time studying the work of people like Abraham Hicks and better understanding law of attraction, what I started to feel was that there was definitely something there, but it felt like we needed to change the story that talks about law of attraction and manifestation and make it a little bit more manageable and a little bit more understandable by changing the story about how we talk about and explain the law of attraction. Yesterday, Matt and I spoke about how to set up something called a vision board, and we called it an order board. And today, I want to explain to you why we call it an order board and introduce to you a concept called the Immaculate Factory.
This is the Immaculate Factory. This is what other law of attraction teachers sometimes call to and refer to as the universe, and we've changed it up a little bit to make it a little bit more modern and a little bit more relatable. This is you. In every single moment of every single day, we are thinking thoughts about things that we want, and as we start to think these thoughts, the best way to understand this is to think about these thoughts that we're having as orders that we're placing with the Immaculate Factory. This perfect factory takes every single thought and every single order that it gets, and every single moment of every single day, it produces and goes about manufacturing every single order that it receives. Once these orders have been prepared, they are set out and scheduled for a delivery to the person that's ordered them. But just like any good business, in order for them to remain profitable, they need to make sure that before they make a delivery, that they submit an invoice, and that invoice is paid in full before the delivery can happen. Once the Immaculate Factory has received payment in full, it goes about delivering the order exactly as it was ordered to the person that placed that order. So how do we pay for these orders that we place with the Immaculate Factory? The Immaculate Factory accepts only one form of currency, and being a COD business, all of the orders need to be paid in full, 100%, before they get delivered. What is that currency that needs to be used to pay for your orders with the Immaculate Factory? Belief. So how do we understand belief? How is it that we can work on belief and get to a place where we can know exactly how to be able to pay for the orders that we place with the Immaculate Factory? The best way for us to do this is to break down belief into its three components, and we've spent some time unpacking what these three components are, and we'll tackle them at later stages as we dive a little bit deeper into the understanding of the Immaculate Factory. But for now, I just want to show you the three components of belief so that you can understand how they are working together in a continuous stream to ensure that belief is basically being developed in order to pay for your orders with the Immaculate Factory. The first and probably most important component as a function of belief is gratitude. Making sure that you are truly, truly grateful for everything that you have in your life at the moment and everything that you have related to your current position of where you are in relation to the thing that it is that you've ordered. So if you have placed an order with the Immaculate Factory for more money, being grateful about the current cash flow and situation that you have in your life is a critical component in developing belief that you need in order to pay for your order with the Immaculate Factory. The second component of belief which needs to be considered when you work on paying for orders with the factory is patience. If you are truly, truly believing that the order that you've placed with the factory is definitely going to be coming to you, patience is a part of belief that needs to be there as you realize that the order is coming to you, but you're patient in waiting for that order to be delivered. And the last component of belief is progress. If you have placed an order with the Immaculate Factory, you're grateful for where you are, and you're patiently waiting for it, the final component that helps you establish that belief that you need to pay for your order is progress. Small incremental steps that are happening that show you that you are moving towards exactly what it is that you've ordered and want to show up in your life.
So that day, when I created that random Gmail wallpaper and the $1 million idea, I had essentially placed an order with the Immaculate Factory and put it out to the world. And as soon as I'd paid for that order in full, it arrived in my world. Tomorrow we're going to teach you how you can leverage this powerful lifestyle design tool called manifestation using this analogy of the Immaculate Factory to be able to set up your life. And tomorrow's video we're going to talk about something called a pregame. But for now, just process what we've been through, maybe watch the factory analogy again to better understand exactly how this process works, and we'll see you in tomorrow's video to help you set up your first pregame.